I'm some idiot. Hello! Hello, everybody. How's it going over there? Trying to make some coffee. Sorry. The morning got away from me, and then I started daydreaming, which is what you do when you think about stuff. And so now I have some big ideas brewing in the old noggin. So how is your weekend or Sunday, whichever you would rather talk about first? Mindy, hello. How are you doing today? How is it going? Ethan, what's up? Are you still the highest selling poet on Amazon? What's happening? Oh man, it's been a great weekend. Good. My weekend's been pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Friday afternoon, it felt like it wasn't going to be that great, and it's just been pleasant. Nothing crazy, nothing out of control, just pleasant. And I can handle pleasant in the present. So that's good. That is good. Definitely not high selling, but I've sold almost 40 copies. So if 20 or 30 is really the average for a debut poetry chapbook, I'm above average. Dude, above average in poetry means bestseller. So let's not I don't know, pull the cart before the horse here, but you're killing it. So good job. Oh, and if you don't know what we're talking about, go pick up Songs for Christmas by Ethan McGuire on Amazon right now. See, look at that. Look at that. That was a sale right there. Like my Gmail notification means you just got a sale. Oh fuck. Yeah, we're gonna talk about some stuff about your writing, not Ethan's personally, but like everyone in general here in a minute. And then I'm going to kind of be previewing, I guess, a little bit of things that I'm going to be putting videos up about this week through one long talk. I don't know. I don't know if this is a good way to move forward, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. So we're just going to roll with it and see how that goes. Okay, let's see if this lighter works. That was shocking. Because I had a good lighter, and then my friend was over here Friday and fucking stole it, the bastard. I think the people who bought it enjoy it. Hurts my Amazon sales because I broadcasted that anyone who hates Amazon could buy it straight from me, which is good for me but bad for the algorithm. Yeah. Here's the thing about people who hate Amazon. They still shop at Amazon. Okay. So everyone who's like, I will never get anything on Amazon, 9 times out of 10, like they have Prime and they're already buying shit at Amazon. Nobody likes it, but we do it because we're stupid and we like convenience. Convenience versus typecast. 1972. I don't know if that's right, actually. Stephen Bruce, what is going on out in the wonderful land of the Barca? Amazon is what Walmart was before. Yeah, but Amazon's way easier because like there's not a fucking like Instagram account or Twitter account called People of Amazon, you know. True, can't seem to kick Amazon. Yeah, I honestly in 2012 and 2013 and 2014, I loved Amazon because Amazon gave me the freedom to not have to make movies anymore. And I was getting paid well to just write for like the first time in my entire life. So I was about to get an Amazon tattoo. Like I wanted like the A with the smiley face arrow thing just because I'm like, you've given me freedom, you know, like, but that's very silly. And I'm glad I didn't do it because I was going to put it on my fucking hand, which is just fucking dumb. So I'm glad I didn't do it, whatever. Um, but then I like really didn't like a lot of the practices. And that's when I went to making chapbooks, like my newest chapbook, Fuck You, out now. You can only get it by emailing me directly. So let's just pretend you hate Amazon. So order this from me directly. 40 pages, 14 poems. Limited to 20 copies, the first 9 signed. FOMO, guys, FOMO. Oh man, you would regret that now. Fuck yeah, I would, dude. Oh, yeah, I remember when Amazon was mostly books, and I remember when eBay was mostly Pez. Um, but oh, Paul, what's up? Have you heard of the dude? Not only have I not heard of it, I don't know how to pronounce it. So Ordo Templis Orenti. I feel like I just like said Klaatu Verada Necto or something, and like something's gonna happen now that I said it. But yeah, and so when I started doing the chapbook stuff, like I was really trying to stay away from Amazon altogether. But the problem I had was that you wrote that backwards. Oh no. Now I'm gonna have to say it again. Is something gonna happen? Is like Bloody Mary gonna show up? Oh, Lester Crowley, Jesus Christ, man, what are you doing to me right now? Congrats on the new chapbook. All's good here, except I had a kitchen pipe explode flooding my apartment. Oh, shit. Dude, I've had that happen in a couple different places I live, man. I do not fucking envy you. Did it fuck a lot of shit up? Like, ruin shit? I just found out they were right next door to my place. Oh, shit, no way. That's crazy. Is it still a fucking thing? I'm assuming that's a group. An minimal water damage. That's cool. Um, let's see. Order of the Orient Templar or Orient Temple. I'm gonna guess those are what those words are. um, but yeah, the problem I had is that most of the people who were on my mailing list, like almost exclusively shopped at Amazon. So when I started doing chapbooks and moving kind of everything over to Etsy, I was having a really hard time converting like my mainly ebook reading audience. And it took a while to get a lot of those people over to Etsy. But then on top of that, um, I would say the majority of those people never went to Etsy, and they still just get my shit on Amazon. So I don't know. I want to say going wide is helpful for shit like that. Like not just selling on Amazon, but going through like something like Draft to Digital, or like I don't know if Book Baby does that, but like being able to sell your shit on like Apple and Google and Kobo and stuff like that. But I have noticed that, for instance, if you don't have a lot of people in Canada buying your stuff, um, leaving exclusivity on Amazon to sell on Kobo, for instance, probably isn't going to net you a whole lot unless you are looking to actually market and advertise in that market, if that makes sense. But Google and Apple and even Nook, like with Barnes and Noble, I don't think it's called Nook anymore. Like, I don't know. I haven't been doing that in a really long time. Even at the like height of my ebook production, that was such a fucking minuscule part of my income. Yeah, listen to Paul. Thumbs up. Crack them thumbs. Like this fucking live stream, guys. Paul, thank you so much for reminding everybody, including me, to have that happen. Oh, there it goes. Cracked. Nice. Okay, so with all that malarkey out of the way, let's just all touch wood that none of us got an Amazon tattoo. Okay. Because now if I were to get one, I would do it on my butt. I would not put that on a part where most humans see. But then again, as much as my ass is out of my pants, that probably wouldn't really help me a whole lot. Okay. So what I wanted to kind of talk about, and kind of you can make me a mod if you like. I don't know how to do that. Hit me up and we'll talk about that. I don't know how to do that. But what do you call it? Oh, yeah. So I was watching a like a comic book video the other day. What was the channel? Oh, Cartoonist Kayfabe, if you guys have ever seen it. It's a pretty decent channel. I like some of the stuff they do on there. But they did this thing where they were looking at their early notebooks of them drawing and shit. And then, like, we're going through the years judging their progress. And I think the video was called Your First Crappy 1,000 Pages or something like that. And it made me think about how long does it take for somebody to and this doesn't have to just be like comics, obviously. This is any kind of art, whether it's songwriting, filmmaking, painting, poetry, short stories, novels, the whole thing. It made me think about how long does it take for someone to feel comfortable, find their voice, feel like the stuff they're creating is genuinely them, you know? And I was kind of looking at my stuff. And if you remember, if I remember to come back into this and put these things in here, I did some videos a couple years back called like something cringe. There might be a playlist even where I was pulling out all of my old notebooks and shit from like when I was a kid to me in junior high to me in high school to some of the first stuff that I was like writing professionally, I guess is the best way to put that. And kind of looking at when I did those videos, I wasn't looking at the progression. I was just looking at what I started with, you know, like the very first glimmer of any type of me trying to take my creativity, my imagination, and somehow um, make that explode on a page. You know what I'm saying? And it was really kind of eye-opening to see that stuff. And that box is in storage right now, or else I would have it out here showing you guys more stuff. But it started making me think about like just like anarchy crew peeps. And like I'm sure Steven and Ethan and actually everyone here, Paul and Mindy, you guys all probably have some kind of um like thought on how you have progressed, where you started from, where you hope to go, and where you see yourself now, kind of thing. And the thing that has like kind of boggled my brain, I guess is the way to say it. I feel like for those of you who think like I'm an overnight success, which I'm fucking not, but let's just say you think that this overnight success has taken me 25 years at least to get to this point, probably more, like 30, because I was hustling by the time I was 14, you know, like putting on shows and recording bands and selling demo tapes and all that other fucking shit. So, like, it has taken me many, 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 many years crossing all different kinds of mediums and all different kinds of genres to be where I'm at right now. But there is also something to be said, I think, for focus, because I've seen people in Anarchy Crew who started out one way and within a few months, 6 months, a year, their work is completely different and has completely matured from where they started. And I'm not saying like I'm pissed that like it's taken me year after year after year after year after year to get where I'm at right now. But I think even if you were to read like some of my poetry from like Fingering the Mundane or The End of Everything and read stuff in Winter or in Fuck You or something like that, it would probably feel drastically different. When I'm writing, I don't necessarily feel like it feels drastically different. But that's also because I don't sit and compare side by side. Like there are things I know I do different. Um I'm much more sparse now than I was when I started really trying to do just this poetry thing, you know. Um I think there was a period where my sparseness was not very clear. And so once I got the sparseness down, um, I feel like my next step was clarity. You know, I feel like there was a period in the middle right there where my shit was probably a little more vague than I would like. And I feel like I've kind of jumped that hurdle as well. Um, let's see, Paul says, change everything constantly changes. There is a cycle, a waveform to every event we encounter in our journey through time. Totally. And our style always evolves. And it totally does. I mean, shit. Like, take away the different mediums of stuff that I've done, but just like actual, like, I mean, if you listen to Creeperson, like the first Creeperson album is very Misfit sounding. And then the last Creeperson album, like, feels more like Cramps or the Stooges. You know what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of bands, like, and a lot of bands you guys probably like, you probably like their first or second album or something. That's when you like fell in love with the band. And then the band keeps putting out more stuff, and you're like, I'm not really into it. You're not really into it because it doesn't have that same thing that made you fall in love with it in the first place. And also, as a observer of art, you are not in the same place, because a lot of times when we take in art and it becomes a part of our lives and touches our heart, it's not just because the art, it's because of what our life is doing at that time. You know, like whenever I listen to that Starflyer 59 Gold album, like that makes me think of driving my 66 Pontiac up and down PCH during the summer with the windows down. And that feeling was an amazing feeling. That was an amazing summer. But when I listen to that album, that's what I think about. And that's the feeling I get. The memory of that amazing time in my life. But do I listen to Starflyer stuff after that album? Not really, because it doesn't have the same connection that had. So all kind of art is like that too. Like if you read a book that you really like and you're reading that book at a time when you are really happy and in a really good place, you're going to fucking love that book so much more than you would if you were fucking miserable in a fucking miserable place. And when you think back to like, oh yeah, I really like that book, the way you talk about that book is going to be not just the book being good, but the circumstances in your life that made that a good fucking thing for you. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting like way more in the weeds than I was trying to get into with this. Um, the Altered Boys would be a good name for a Catholic punk band. I was born in 66. Yeah, there was the Altered Boys. That's funny. There there was a band called the Altar Boys, I think, like in the early 90s. I'm not 100% on that. Let's see here. Deep in the Reed says, all my favorite bands are the ones that really evolve their sounds over time, like Swans, Ulver, or even better known bands like Pink Floyd or the Beatles. Yeah, like some people really dig that and being able to follow a band on their journey. And usually, I feel like when you are a really big fan of somebody, you can follow them on that journey. But there's probably albums that you like better than others. Like I love the fucking Cramps. Love the Cramps. But I will listen to, like, I call it their first wave stuff. Everything from the beginning up until before A Date with Elvis. I listen to that shit all the fucking time. So like, what are those albums called? Songs the Lord Taught Us, um, Psychedelic Jungle, I think, and then like the Bad Music for Bad People or Off the Bone, and then The Smell of Female. Like I can listen to that shit all the fucking time. And then the second wave stuff I still like, and that would be everything from A Date with Elvis to Look Mom No Head. And I listened to those albums a bunch, but not nearly as much as that first one. And then even like their third wave, their last wave. This is so stupid that I put everything in fucking pockets like this. But everything else, like up until Fiends of Dope Island, I listen to that stuff, but not nearly as much. Okay. I like all of it, but like there are certain things that you go back to all the time. Um, I like your Boris postcard on the fridge. I don't think I have a Boris postcard on my fridge, do I? No, I don't. I don't think I do. Um, been writing seriously for 15 years, but in the last 5 years, my style has evolved, improved, whatever, drastically. Thing is, I still publish stuff from years ago alongside with stuff I wrote yesterday. Yeah, I would be curious to see what would happen if you didn't do that. Oh, I thought you meant Boris Vallejo. Sorry. Karloff. Yeah. Boom. Gotcha. Because I have some Vallejo stuff in the other room. So sorry about that. Let me see. Because I dig the fucking fantasy heavy artwork with like muscular dudes and beautiful women and giant monsters. I just love that shit. Like Frank Frazetta and Vallejo too. Like, okay. But I'd be curious to see what you would, how your stuff would read if you were just putting out new shit and then later on put out some old shit, like all like lumped together. But you might not like that because you might not like those poems anymore, you know? So I don't know. Let's see. I need to write more to evolve more quickly. I'm trying to figure out, take some time away from the major time commitment of booktube without quitting. Yeah, it's really tricky to figure out how to make that work. How often do you post videos, Mindy? Are you like once a week? Like what's your schedule? Um but Mindy, I will say like even in that what do you call it? The Poetic Anarchy book where you did that poem 3 times like and each time like pushing it further and further. That was like one of the quickest evolutions I've ever seen of somebody. So like don't sell yourself short on that. Like that was seriously an amazing thing to witness. So that was cool. I only ever post prose and poetry on my Facebook page. Posted a thing today called Way of the Sage. Yes, Boris Karloff is Frankenstein's monster. I get it. I fucked up, guys. Oh my god. I have the 20s and 30s period of Hollywood, or I love the 20s and 30s period. Dude, seriously. That's why I love the fact like the building I live in was built in 29. I love the architecture of downtown because if you like look around and you're just like at eye level, everything looks the way it does. If you just put your hand up like this and look up a little bit and don't look at the street lights or the cars, Like you would swear that you're in fucking 1920 LA. It's amazing. I love that. So Mindy does 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah, I would say try doing once a week and see how that goes and see how you feel doing that. Because I have noticed, and I talked about this the other day, the fewer videos I post, the quicker my views like shoot up on those videos. And I also end up with more subscribers off of those videos than when I post all the time. I don't know what the science behind any of this is, but it's how that goes. I love how those Boris Karloff horror movies are filled with German expressionism. Lately, I've been really into silent movies, and those Karloff movies are filled with the same techniques. Oh yeah, and like I can't scream enough. Cabinet of Dr. Caligari is like one of the greatest things that ever happened. So I'm sure it's on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. And then if you just want to see like a silent film actor be fucking amazing, Lon Chaney Sr., and I'm not talking about Hunchback or Phantom or anything like that, but like movies like The Unknown and what's another good one? I'm noticing I'm having a hard time remembering names of things. I was talking to someone last night about movies and I couldn't remember the name of fucking any movie. But yeah, those are all great. Paul says, I went for coffee one time in the Franklin and went for coffee one time in the Franklin with Angeline one time. No shit. That's awesome. She knew all the tech on her pink Corvette. I bet. Did she sell that? I thought I heard that she got rid of it or something. More now, yeah. If we're talking about silent movies, I have to recommend The Passion of Joan the Arc. Voices of Light version. Incredible movie, super powerful. Dude, for real, some of the silent movies like Cabinet seem so far ahead of their time, like we haven't even caught up to them yet. Yeah. Lon Chaney was a great character actor. Dude, and he put himself through fucking hell doing all of the stuff he did. He did all of his own makeup, all of his own special effects, and his own stunts. Dude, wait, there's a documentary. It's called, is it called Man of a Thousand Faces? I think it's called Man of a Thousand Faces. Look it up. Like, that's like amazing. Amazing. She's ancient. Yeah. Jeff, what's up, man? How you doing? Oh my gosh. I need to take my allergy shit, dude. My sinuses are like, hey, fuck you, buddy. Yeah, I hate spieling. Spieling's awful. And if you're spieling on your phone, autocorrect like just makes you sound like a fucking idiot all the time. I would like to do a nature poems chapbook. It would quite the tone shift from skeletons. So yeah, but I think like one of the things you do better than anything, Mindy, is like your total pastoral poem stuff. Like you like it's like nature runs through you when you write that shit. And everything has like this innocence, like through your eyes in those moments. Like I would definitely lay into that if I were you, at least for a bit, and just see what you come up with. Jeff, how's your book? Like, is it all finished up now? Did you solidify everything for it? Just wrote a new poem for it. Yeah, going back to what Ethan was talking about mixing poems from a long time ago that he doesn't necessarily like, he feels like his new stuff is better than, and all that other shit. I'm having a really hard time trying to figure out when and what to put my stuff out, like, if that makes sense. Like, I have a bunch of chapbooks about that have come out that are about my time in the desert, and I have a bunch of other poems that are slated in chapbooks that I haven't put out yet that are also about my time in the desert. And then I have other poems that I've written that aren't slated in chapbooks that are about my time in the desert. And then I even have ideas for poems that I wanted time to reflect about my time in the desert before I started writing those. So I really want to put like that whole collection together, and that's going to be a fucking beast. But at the same time, I'm not writing, like, I feel like I'm writing better now than I was then. So that book, I have a title for the book, I have the whole fucking thing, and I just don't know if I want to put that out right now because I feel like the stuff I'm writing now is 100 times better than that shit. And then I have that book of poetry about my ex, the Muse book. And even though I think that's probably some of the best stuff I've ever written, I don't know if I want to deal with that shit right now. Because it took me a long time to get over all of that. Do I really want to fucking rehash that right now? Have to go through and read every single poem and do an edit, like just make sure everything's spelt correctly and in the right spot? Do I really want to fucking open myself up to read the entire history of that relationship? Like, I think it would be a great book, and I think like people would fucking love it, but do I want to fucking do that to myself? I don't. But I really want that book to come out sooner rather than later. So, I get what you mean, but I also really feel like unless you're doing like a selected poems kind of thing, I really think poems should be together from when they were written, if that makes sense. Because like seeing, I don't know, and especially if you're doing a book, because it becomes a journey. It becomes the reader going on a walk with you through a part of your life. And I know a lot of people who believe in the death of the author hate that fucking idea. Like, that's the last fucking thing they want their reader to fucking do, to walk along with them through something. But I don't know. Like, I think that's the way to go. Okay, let me see. I'm way behind on all this shit. Paul says, anger kills the pain, but kills my other feelings. To trade my heartfelt, trusted truth for simple logic, sad but true. Is this a Metallica song, or are you like just being fucking super fucking profound? What's happening right now? I feel like it's the never ending project. Jeff, it's the never ending project because you haven't set a deadline. Set yourself a deadline and just know that the universe or whatever will give you whatever you need to have that book be complete by that day. And then whatever doesn't go in that goes in the next book. A noble thing to say, but a foolish thing to do. I'll leave our future up to you. Oh, the silly things we do. Wow, you are killing it over here in the comments, my friend. Steven says, I have a great anthology of ancient Chinese poets, fantastic nature poems. I borrowed it from someone a few years ago, and I'm hell giving it back. The British in me. Yeah, you're one of those. No, it's okay. I have a book on my bookcase that somebody let me borrow, and she said, now I want this book back, like when she was handing it to me. And I'm like, okay, I'll read it right now. And I read it in like a week. And it's been probably 4 months. And it's just sitting there. And I could just very easily give it to her. But I keep going, I need to give this to her. I need to give this to her. Well, the poems in the book being 3 years old finally got me out of a book contract I didn't want to be a part of. So what do I think of that? I don't know. I still want to check that out. Have you sent that book to me? Wait, did I read that? Ethan, if you're still around, send me that book, the dance one. I call one of my collections Little Red Books. Nobody has read them yet. Nice. Take care, Ethan. No, an old poem. Nice. One thing I know is I will be happy with my book when it comes out. That's all you got to do, man. As long as you're happy with what comes out, that's the important thing there. I wanted to talk about flow and that kind of shit, but I think I'm gonna hold off on that until next week because I feel like we hit a lot of shit here, and I don't want to muddy it down. There's one poem I still haven't been able to write yet that the book needs. When that poem comes out of me, I will know the book is ready. Then the book may never be ready. So as long as you're okay with that, then that's okay. And that's fine if that's the case. That's one reason why I haven't put that one book out, because like I needed time away from the situation to be able to write the last couple poems for it, and I haven't done that yet. So, but I feel like even when I do that, I don't know if the book will, if I'll want to put the book out, you know? So that might just be something like that's just sitting in my computer, you know? Ant flow, yes. I want to talk about your ant flow and things like that. No, I mean like I know yeah, I hear you. I know what let me see. How do I describe this? I have it written down here. Okay, like when you are in the zone, and anytime any of us creative types have been in the process of creating, it's like when it rains, it pours kind of thing. If you find that inspiration or that burst, you never want to stop because you are completely connected with the inspiration and it's just pouring out of you. Now, a lot of people, when they are trying to write something, they are looking to find that flow. They are looking to have the inspiration strike, as opposed to letting that inspiration strike happen. And then once you hit it, once it's in you, then you let that come out. A lot of people will get inspired by something, and we've talked about this before. People will get inspired about something and then wait because it's not time to write yet, or it's not time to create yet. And a lot of times, and like what I'm worried about with like Jeff here, and what I'm worried about with me, is that the idea for that thing has come and we did not allow it to pour through us at that time. So now that thing is gone. Now that thing no longer exists the way it would have if we would have like let the flow come through and go onto the page. So that's kind of what I want to talk about. Like that's super brief little tidbit, but probably do that next week. Let me see. Let me catch up here. Paul says, until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness concerning all acts of initiative and creation. Google, begin it now by Goeth. Begin it now by Goeth. Maybe. Let me see. I will type that down. Okay, that sounds good. JH, what's up? You are early for next week's live stream. I'm just fucking with you. Mindy says, I just finished reading a Woman of Horror poetry anthology all around the topic of domestic issues. It was heart-wrenching and inspiring. Jesus fucking Christ. What's it called? Drop it in the chat. But somehow inspired to write happy, beautiful things to counterbalance the sadness. Yeah, you got to figure it out. You got to make that happen. Jeff says, I gave myself a deadline the other day. I want to have everything ready to print by the end of January so I could start promotion for an April book release. Okay. Also look up If by Rudyard Kipling. You know what? That poem just came up. Who was talking about that? That poem just came up the other day. I was having a conversation about it. Deepin Reed says, what's the title? Yeah, like we're definitely curious about this. Oh, she has it in here. Okay. Then Jeff says, I'm of the mind that I haven't learned what I need to in order to write the poem yet. Okay. It was too long to post here. It changed my life. Paul says so that's about the Begin It Now is what you're talking about, or the Kipling poem? It's called Under Her Eye, edited by Lindy Ryan and Lee Murray. Under Her Eye. LOL, I'm in bed, midnight here. Synchronicity, Matt. Yeah, I hear you. So, I think I'm going to read a poem out of the new book. I need about 8 pages of poetry for my last collection, and then I'm out. I don't like this like definitive fucking like fatalistic I'm done with poetry thing that you got going on, because a lot of times we think we're out, but then it pulls us back in. I read Begin It Now and sold everything and moved to Hollywood for 10 years. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm afraid if I read that, like, if you guys knew the plan that I have in my head right now, you guys, every single one of you, would be kind of terrified for me, but at the same time, making room for me at your place. Just saying. That's the plan that's kind of working through my head right now. If I follow through with this thing, like, everything is going to be kind of different and crazy. But the same shit will be happening. It'll just be different. So I'll leave that cliffhanger there. But yeah, so I wrote this poem the other night on one of my streams. I can't remember if it was member stream or if I did this for everybody. I can't remember. But so yeah, so this poem is called My Myth of Sisyphus. And I don't know. It kind of fucked me up a little bit. You have a Celtic knot tattoo, so I guess you need to visit the old country. There's room for you here anytime. Yeah, right. I do have that. I do have that. I was like one of the first ones I ever got. Which is why it's the size it is, because that's how much tattoo you get for $60 back when I was fucking 18. Okay, so I just want you all to know, do not judge me until you hear the whole poem, okay? Because there's going to be some shit in here that is kind of, okay. So, my myth of Sisyphus. Turning the corner to the little walkway up to 7-Eleven, I almost fell over a mass of dirty blankets. I lunged out of the way, looking down to cuss out the fucker that almost killed me. And looking back at me were the biggest, saddest brown eyes locked into the face of a sad, cute girl. My eyes ran up and down. She was slight, but barefoot. Her feet and ankles were swollen, 5 times their normal size. I would guess looked like they were covered in tar. She was scratching her crotch and seemed to be pulling things, little bugs, off of her blanket that covered her. Filthy and smelled like death, she whispered something. I couldn't hear. She was handing me $1. I didn't take it. She said cherry Coke and pointed to 7-Eleven. I told her I would get her one. Her eyes haunted me the whole time I was in that store. I grabbed the Coke, then at the register, thought she should eat something, and picked up a Snickers for her too. I walked over to her, handed her the cherry Coke. She said, God bless you, and I handed her the Snickers. Are you okay? I asked her. I'm okay, she said. Look, do you want to come back to my place, get a shower? I'll wash your clothes, make you some food. To fuck? She asked. Wait a minute, how old are you? 18? Really? No, 19. Why did you say 18? Don't guys like younger girls? I helped her up onto her deformed feet. She bobbled and almost fell over. My mind started playing tricks on me. I thought I could feel microscopic bugs crawling all over me, burrowing into my skin. I led her up the hill to my building. We had to walk very slow. I kept thinking she was going to fall over backwards, rolling down to the bottom of the hill, me having to play Sisyphus. Luckily, there was no one in the lobby, no one in the elevator. That ride seemed slower than every other ride. The smell coming off of her filled that little box quickly, to the point where I held my breath that last floor. I was nervous, trying to get my keys in the right locks, something I've done hundreds of times before. I looked at her. She looked at me and smiled. A very bright and clean smile. She smiled with her eyes. All right, I said, straight into the bathroom there. I pointed, then ran to the kitchen, got two big trash bags, ran back to the bathroom, found her still bundled up, standing next to the tub. Take all that shit off and put it in the bag. Actually, stand in the tub and do it. She did. I had to help her in there. I left the bags there, turned, and headed out. Wait, she said. I need you to help me. Well, I was just trying to give you privacy. Two blankets filled one bag, everything else in the other bag. Shorts with shit stains, a broken bra, a top ripped to hell, and a hoodie. I tied the bags off and ran them to the door. I wanted to put them in the wash immediately, but I didn't want to leave her in my place alone. While I would be in the basement, they would have while I was in the basement, they would have to wait. I walked back to the bathroom, and there stood a naked beauty with giant ankles and feet, covered in tar and shit and dried blood. Do you need me to turn on the water? She nodded. I turned it on, expecting her to move, flinch, something, but she stood firm, the way a statue doesn't move in the rain. I handed her the soap. She looked at me like she expected me to do it. I just stared at her eyes. I couldn't help but think of all the bugs that were fighting their way out of those trash bags, about the ones that jumped off of her once we entered. I looked down at the brown water, seeing little specks of living things trying to swim to dry land, only finding the drain. I'll give you some clothes to wear, and then you could come with me into the basement and we'll wash your stuff. Or I guess we could just toss it and I'll give you new stuff. She nodded. I would like to fuck you, she said. You're being nice to me. I sighed. This whole thing felt weird and awful and dirty. I looked at her bush and saw small white creatures crawling around. I squinted my eyes, took a closer look, grabbed a comb out of the medicine cabinet, and turned back to her. Let go, she said. What? Feeling her tugging, I looked down. I was still holding the Snickers bar. We were still in front of 7-Eleven. God bless you, she said. I released my grip and jolted back, caught my breath. Stay warm out here tonight. Thank you, she said. I walked up the hill to my building, still feeling like Sisyphus. So that was that. Let me see. She probably wanted a fat pebble rock. Damn, my typing is bad in the dark. Crabs on Pebble Beach. Yep, there it is. So yeah, so that was that little ditty. Oh, thank you. Thank you. But yeah, so the majority of those poems though are really kind of angsty and yeah, a little dark. Oh, chill, baby. Thank you. But yeah, that's probably usually the reason why it's hard for me to get anything done, because whenever I think about doing something, I also think about all the 100 ways something can go wrong before I actually do anything. And then when I snap out of it, I realize I've been standing in one place or sitting in one place for sometimes hours and I haven't even fucking done anything. I've just been playing all the shit in my head. Have you ever been to a bar called Jumbo's Clown Room on Hollywood Boulevard? You brought that up to me before. No, I haven't. I just went to a place that I hadn't been to in like a decade called fucking Tiki No in North Hollywood. If you've ever done that, it's on Lankershim, I think. Lankershim, yeah. That place is pretty cool. Yeah, the only David Lynch place that I've been to that he used to hang out at is fucking Bob's Big Boy um, on Riverside. Is it on Riverside or is that Alameda? I think it's on Riverside because I think Riverside and Alameda turn into one street. The Burgundy Room rocks too. I'm trying to get myself to go out more, but I'm a fucking nightmare in public. And so, yeah, especially when we're talking about bars. So, I don't know. Like I'm having this like come on, dude. Jesus fucking Christ, these motherfuckers. Um Friday nights for the car meet at Bob's. Yeah, yeah, totally. But you go there during the week around lunchtime and you see all sorts of people if you're into spotting people. So for any of you coming to LA and you want to like see celebrities and shit like that, go to Bob's in Toluca Lake on Riverside right there in between 11:30 and 1:30, and you'll see all sorts of fucking people. Yeah, it's really cool. I dig it. To be honest, I get sick every time I eat there, but I really enjoy the place so much that I don't really give a shit. So, but I used to live right across the street from there. It was great. That was a wonderful summer. That was a great time. I lived, yeah, I haven't been to Canners in forever, but I lived on Toluca Lake Road. I think it's road, not lane, Toluca Lake Road. And at one end of the street is the Warner Brothers Studios, like the lot. And then there's Ciao Christina right on the corner, this Italian place. And then my street goes down and then ends. Is that Pass? I think it's Pass is the name of the street. And then at the on the corner of Pass and Riverside is Bob's Big Boy right there. Um, that was a wonderful place to live. That was so much fun. I really enjoyed life when I was living there. I think that's still technically Burbank, but it's like right on the edge of Burbank and Toluca Lake, or Toluca Lake isn't necessarily incorporated, so Burbank has like absorbed it. The Greenway Court there on Fairfax has as the Poetry Slam 2. It's the biggest spoken word night in the US. Is that the what's it called? Like the Poets Lounge or something like that? Or like I've seen like images from that thing and it looks like a fucking amphitheater, like, and the poet like stands like on this little circle in the middle and there's seats like all around it going up. It's fucking crazy. Oh, you're leaving maybe? Where in Poland do you want to go? And how long were you in Poland? Yeah, the Poetry Lounge. Okay, yeah, that place is crazy looking, dude, for sure. And it's very like hip hoppy slam for sure. It was amazing. I went up and did my thing. Only white guy ever do it. Like I see all sorts of all different types of people doing that there. I don't know what it was like then, but yeah, no, it's huge. Like it like that they still pack that place every time they do it. I lived there for about 2 years before I came to Barcelona. Okay, how many people are like me where every 2 years you seem to move? And whenever you move, it's somewhere drastically fucking different. Ooh, like a Shakespeare theater, that'd be cool. Is that what that's like? Like, do they have theaters specifically built like that for that reason? That's really interesting. I didn't know that. In a small village, I would like to live near Warsaw, maybe a small town somewhere. Barcelona is my favorite city. I've always had a strange fascination with Poland. I hate moving and avoid it. I hate moving, but I always seem to do it. I don't know if it's that the place I'm at, like I've sucked all the inspiration I can out of a place and I need to fucking leave to find new inspiration, or if it's I just feel like nomadic and I feel like I don't have a home. And so I'm constantly in search of what home is and what home means, or if I just don't give a shit and I just get bored and need to fucking take off. But I usually move every 2 years, and I am now on my 25th month in this apartment. And so I feel like the clock's ticking now. Ugh, moving fucking sucks. So I'm going to read that thing that Paul sent over. And I'm going to what do you call it? Get rid of everything I own. Maybe. I'm trying to empty a storage unit right now, and it is just taking me forever. It's killing me. Have I ever lived on the East Coast? No, I've stayed on the East Coast, in Florida a few times, and that's not really like East Coast like you're talking. But I would say, how long have I been in Florida? Let's say. I would say like 4 months in total. I've been in Florida. Um, and then I've visited the East Coast a couple times. Um, the longest was probably about 10 days, but I've never actually lived on the East Coast. Me, I end up moving every 1 to 3 years. With me, it's like my environment pushes me out in one way or another. It's so weird how that's like that. Like, there's a part of me that's like, I would love to feel stability and just go, wait, no, this is my home. But like, I don't know if I've ever felt that way. But I see that other people feel that way all the fucking time. But like you're saying, like you feel like your environment pushes you out one way or another, or something like that. Like it's like I'm the fucking pus in a zit, and the area I'm at just like expresses me. And it's like, well, I'm fucking gone now. Like I can't go back in, you know? Like that's a horrible analogy and I shouldn't have done it. But that's kind of how I feel sometimes. Florida is more like Arizona than like it's Boston. Like Arizona, if you are constantly in a hot, sticky shower with your clothes on, trying to like act like a normal human being for real. Um, I like to live in Compton. Those big houses are cool, and it's always nice folks. I used to drive my Eldo down there a lot. Um, I go in 7 year cycles with big changes. Wow, 7 years. That's a lot of time to accumulate shit, though. I don't know if I could do every 7 years, dude. That seems like a lot of shit. I preferred touring East Coast over West Coast. Never lived on either. I hear you on the stability thing. I feel the same. Looks like it'd be nice. Haven't found mine. Yeah, the one thing I'll say about the East Coast, which I do kind of like the idea of, is that there's all these big, completely different metropolitan areas, and they're all relatively close to each other compared to here, where every time you need to go somewhere, it's like 3 hours this way, 5 hours this way, 7 hours that way. It's like it's so spread out over here. And like when I talk to people from the East Coast, like something could be 3 hours away, but like on that trip that's 3 hours away, they'll hit like two or three different metropolitan areas that are completely different. It's crazy. Maybe one day I'll visit America. Like, when do you think you're gonna be done with Barcelona? Because I got to get my fucking passport situated and hit you up before you take off, dude. Um, Manhattan freaks me out. Yeah, I've only been in New York for about 8 hours, and it was all kind of around JFK, and so I didn't like get into the city, but like the time I spent in and around JFK was probably one of the worst days of my life. Just everyone was a complete asshole. And if you're going to visit New York, I would assume you should leave the airport. Don't just stay in or around the airport. Not a very friendly place. Outside of the airport, I'm sure it's a nicer feel. That's just me, and I'm just guessing here, if I'm honest. I stayed a while on 103rd and Broadway. That sounds like that would have been fun as shit. So why was it bad? I have to renew my passport also. I would say I'm leaving late next year, early 2025. Okay. That gives me a few minutes to fucking figure this out. But I will say, even though it's probably gonna be shitty and windy, I do want to hopefully sometime next year spend about a week in the Maldives. That is just like I got to figure out a way to make that happen, and I just want to get drunk and type and Like, if you don't know what the Maldives looks like, fucking Google it. And I'm sure it's not as pretty as the pictures, but for fuck's sake, I don't give a shit. Put me in a hut, let me fucking type, keep the alcohol coming. I don't know. And then give me a fucking taco or a fucking whatever. I don't give a shit. With a guy who was a money changer on Wall Street, said to me, the smallest block of money I can move is $10 billion. Oh my God. That's crazy. That's like a completely different language. Oh. Let me see here. What is going on? Yeah, so we will wrap this up here in a minute. I gotta get that War All the Time, the first section of War All the Time done for members. So I'll probably do that. And then maybe do a writing vid for Anarchy Crew. That is the plan. Sam's. All right. So do you guys got anything else you want to throw at me while we're winding down here on this lovely Sunday afternoon before the sun goes down? I feel like I should go to the grocery store today. Don't want to, but I feel like that would be the right thing to do. I'm waiting for Paul's memoir. Like, this should be like the most like crazy, ridiculous book ever. Get on that shit. Start typing. I'm back to hosting weekly open mics on Zoom. Oh shit! You're doing it weekly now? How come? What changed your mind on that? That's awesome. And I loved the artwork you did for the last one you did. That was cool. Who did that artwork? I just Googled Maldives and I need to go there now. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, dude. Like I saw it and I'm just like, oh my God, I just want to fucking like I'm afraid if I go, I'm not gonna come back. I'm gonna like go and go. I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna survive out here. I'm just gonna fucking try it because this is what life looks like it should be. Let's see. I need to have something each week. Oh, yeah, I get that. What's the best etiquette for Instagram? Am I meant to follow everyone back who follows me? Oh, that is tough. I don't know. I think that's probably good etiquette, but then there's this other thing where I don't know who these people are, but I've been told they will look and see if there's more people following you than you are following. And if you follow more people than follow you, that's bad. And they will look at that in a negative light. I don't know who the fuck they is. I don't know who the fuck these people are who are policing what's going on your fucking ratio. But that is what I've heard. But then again, I don't really give a shit. But what I do know is that you kill Instagram. If you guys don't know how to do shit on Instagram, look at what Stephen Bruce is doing. He is doing an amazing job on Instagram. So, like, you're killing it. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I don't know, like, I was following everyone who followed me, but now what I do is if somebody follows me, I'll check their page out, and if their page looks like something I would be interested in, then I'll follow them. But I'm not blindly following people anymore because, I'm trying to kill all of the time sucks in my life. And what would be great is if I got to the point where on Instagram I wasn't following fucking anybody, so I never had to fucking look at it, and I could just post on it and then go back to creating. I'm realizing that I am spending a lot of time doing a lot of things that isn't creating. It's like more admin shit. And when I do more admin shit, I go into like rabbit holes or rabbit trails and I start like looking at other shit and doing other stuff. And I need to be focusing more on my work than playing on the internet. So that's just a me thing. Um, let's see. It was the Canvas AI tool. Well, that's pretty awesome. Or Canva AI tool. My memoirs is called Sleeping in the Arms of God. I'll post it soon. Oh my gosh. Yes. Make that a thing. Chill Baby's been sewing lately a lot for money, trying to be patient. Wish I could be creative all day. Have so many projects I'd love to finish right now. I hear ya. Well, that's awesome that you're like doing something that's bringing in some fucking scratch, dude. That's great. Um, I only follow people that have content relevant to what I'm doing. That's probably a pretty good idea too. But are you following anyone who has any kind of content like yours or just stuff that you would be interested in? Yeah, Jeff's like, yeah, your Insta chops are sick, Steven. Yeah, you're killing it, bro. You're killing it. Um, I don't, Steven. If people only following me to trade follows, I don't care about it. Yeah, Steven kills it on IG as a writer. Yeah, so if you were wondering if you're like how people are viewing your stuff, everyone thinks you're fucking like knocking it out of the park, dude. Um, it came from my friend's mom when I asked her what it was like when she meditated. Oh, that's awesome. And that's about Paul's title. Cheers. Yeah, you're like I love the aesthetic. I love the and this is a big thing for me is branding, the way you brand your posts. So it's like the like gray and it's like here's a quote from this with like a little picture, or this is my trip to so and so. Start going through like your branding is fucking tits. Like very, very, very good with the branding. Yeah, I hear you. And whenever I feel like that, I notice that I just stop posting on Instagram. Like when you say, like, sometimes I feel like, what the hell am I doing here? Yeah. Like I will post a bunch of stuff like daily on Instagram and then I just stop. I just completely fucking like walk away because I feel like I don't know what the fuck is happening. Just need to be book or poetry related for me to follow. Right on. And I hope Adam's doing okay. I should probably send him an email. I haven't heard from him in a little bit. He does great on Instagram too, with just his readings and shit. Like, I really like what he's doing on there too. And chill, baby. I dig all of the like reels you do and stuff. Especially like I don't know if you mean for them to be like this, but you're just completely open, honest, like how you're feeling shit. I think that's huge. And I'm sure you get a lot of people following you who just are kind of enamored by your honesty. So that's really awesome. Everyone's doing great. Everyone's doing well. All right, guys. My poetry is in a book called Of the Blood. I was really digging the idea of you doing an in-person book launch. Yeah, like I'm like doing in-person stuff is great. And if you guys can put in-person stuff together, do it, do it, do it. Okay, guys. I need to eat something. I'm getting weak. So type hard, everybody. You guys are all awesome. And I'll talk to you guys later, okay?